holiday of Shavuot is coming, the day which we got the Torah. The giving of the Torah was this tremendous event. There was thunder and lightning. The Jewish people gathered around the mountain. This was, so to speak, the marriage between God and the Jewish people, a central part of Jewish history, a very significant day on the Jewish calendar. What's interesting about the giving of the Torah is that if you look at the Medrash, you look at the Talmud, this is mentioned many times, the fact that study of Torah, the knowledge of Torah, even the fulfillment of some of the commandments of the mitzvot, this is something which did not begin at the giving of the Torah. In fact, Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, our forefathers, they knew Torah. It speaks about the mothers, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, lighting the Shabbat candles, going as far back as you can go, even to Adam. It's discussed that Adam knew Torah. Talk about Noah, for example. When God tells Noah to go into the ark and to bring from every pure animal 7, and from every impure animal bring 2. Obviously, Noah had some knowledge of what's considered a pure animal and what's considered an animal which isn't pure. So they had knowledge of definitely a great part of Torah. So when God actually gave us the Torah, at Matan Torah, at Sinai, with this major fanfare, with the thunder and lightning, you think about it for a second. The question comes to mind is really what was so great about that? If we knew a lot of this information before, some of it for sure, maybe perhaps most of it, what was the big deal of the giving of the Torah? And what we're going to do now is we're going to answer the question in good Jewish style with a question. In yeshiva, there's this concept, definitely in the yeshivas which I went to, there's this concept of a veker. A veker is one of the students generally in the yeshiva who's paid to be a veker. A veker is a Yiddish word, to ufvecken, to wake up. The veker's job is that every morning, you have to get up very early in the yeshiva. You would start studies at about, most yeshivas, 7:30 or 7 o'clock in the morning. So at 6:30 in the morning, the veker's job was to go to all the rooms in the dormitory and wake everyone up. It was like the alarm clock. You would bang on the doors. It's 6:30. You got a half hour until you got to be sitting until studies begin. In fact, in the shtetl, the Jewish shtetls, Jewish little towns in Europe, there was this concept of somebody whose job it was to wake people up. He would go from house to house, bang on the window, and wake the men of the house up to go to the synagogue for morning prayer. Who was the first veker in recorded history? The first veker that I know of in recorded history was God. The story is when the Jewish people left Egypt, they came to Moses, and they knew that they're destined to receive the Torah. They're excited, they're anxious, they're looking forward. They asked Moses, how long is it until we receive the Torah? Moses says, in 50 days you're going to get the Torah. On the 50th day. So the Jewish people are so excited that every day they start counting. It's like a child checking off the calendar until a special day, until a trip or camp begins. And they're counting off, they count 49 days in anticipation. Every day they're looking forward, they can't wait. They mark off the calendar one day closer. What happens? The night before they're going to get the Torah, they've been waiting all this time. The moment finally arrives. What do they do? The Jewish people, that final night, the morning comes, they're going to get the Torah. That final night, they go to sleep. And they have a sweet sleep. Such a beautiful sleep, as the Medrash says. The morning comes, and God is coming down on the mountain to give the Torah. The Jewish people are a no-show. They're all sleeping. God goes out into the camp and wakes them up and says, hey, God's a veker, you got to wake up. It's time to get the Torah. And the Jewish people come to Mount Sinai to receive the Torah. What were the Jewish people thinking? They've been so excited. They're spending so much time. They're so eager, looking forward, anticipating the giving of the Torah. Comes the night before. Such a momentous event. Such an important time. They go to sleep. And in fact, the reverberations of that is felt till today. The fact that we stay up all night, the first night of Shavuot, is to, so to speak, to rectify, to fix, to repair that mistake, the damage, which the Jewish people did the night before the giving of the Torah. What were they thinking? So the answer to both these questions will come together. what really happened by the giving of the Torah. Like we said earlier, many of the laws and the information which God gave us at the giving of the Torah, we already knew. Here's a unique Hasidic perspective which will shine a light on this idea. The giving of the Torah was very unique, not simply because of the information which we got, but because of what was accomplished at the giving of the Torah. See, before the giving of the Torah, there was this divide between heaven and earth. Heaven and earth could not touch. Heaven remained heaven, earth remained earth. And therefore, when our forefathers studied Torah, or even when they did a mitzvah, they were doing beautiful things, studying fantastic ideas, but nothing could be accomplished by their mitzvah. If Sarah lit Shabbat candles, it was fantastic. When Jacob did the mitzvah of tefillin, it's beautiful. But nothing really happened. They didn't really touch anything. They didn't change anything. Because, after all, there was this divine. Heaven could not come down to earth, and earth couldn't be elevated to heaven. So, Sarah lit Shabbat candles, it was beautiful. It was a beautiful custom. But there was no holiness in the home as a result of the Shabbat candles. The candles didn't become holy, didn't bring holiness into this world. The tefillin which Jacob fulfilled the mitzvah of tefillin with could be thrown out afterwards. Because there was no holiness in the tefillin. There was nothing really accomplished. This world remained mundane and holiness remained above. All this changed by the giving of the Torah. And this is really what was accomplished by Matan Torah, by Sinai. The Torah tells us, Vayered Hashem al Har Sinai, God came down to the mountain. That is what the giving of the Torah is really all about. It's about God taking away that divide, opening it up, empowering every mitzvah with the potential to actually connect heaven and earth, to make this physical world holy. That's what the giving of the Torah was all about. So that now, when we fulfill a mitzvah, when we light Shabbat candles, we bring holiness into our home. It's not simply a tradition, a beautiful tradition. It's much more than that. It's a mitzvah. We're touching the divine. We're connecting heaven and earth. We're making this mundane world holy. When you put on tefillin, when you eat kosher, we're actually accomplishing something in the world, in ourselves, in the food, bringing holiness, making the world a holier place. When we study Torah, we're connecting our minds with God. Every mitzvah we do, every holiday we celebrate, every good deed we do, every time we sit down to study Torah, we're actually accomplishing something. So the giving of the Torah wasn't merely the information, but it was God now empowered the people. We can actually change the world. We can change ourselves. Our Torah and mitzvahs, now we're infused with it with immense potential and the power to actually achieve. And now we understand what the Jewish people's mistake was. They're preparing for this fantastic event of the giving of the Torah. We're going to get the greatest gift. But this gift is godly. It's spiritual. So they're preparing themselves for 49 days. But during those 49 days, their soul is in their body, and thus confined and limited within the limitations of the body. Comes the final night before the giving of the Torah, and the Jews say, what's the best way to prepare? We have one last night. We achieved as much as we can, a soul and a body. They figured, the Jews calculated, the best way to prepare for this spiritual event would be to go to sleep. Because as we know, when we go to sleep, our soul, part of our soul remains in our body, we're alive, but part of our soul goes up to rejuvenate, to be cleansed. Our soul now is freed from the confines of the body. And if, like it says, if we study Torah during the day, sometimes we can merit to actually experience some of the spiritual experiences which our soul experiences during the nighttime. So the Jewish people felt the best and final preparation for the giving of the Torah would be to go to sleep. Let the soul be freed from the confines of the body. Let the soul soar high so that it could actually have the deepest spiritual preparation and experience in preparation for the giving of the Torah. But that was their mistake. That was their mistake. They had all good intentions, but it was a mistake. Because if the preparations for Sinai consists of a soul without a body, you missed the whole point. Because the whole point of Sinai was uniting body and soul, making them one, not ignoring the body, but elevating the body, elevating the mundane. That's what the giving of the Torah was. So they had good intentions, but they were mistaken. They missed the point of what the giving of the Torah was about. It wasn't about the spiritual. It was about uniting the physical and the spiritual, elevating this world, actually changing something, accomplishing an effect on this physical world. And my dear friends, the lesson is extremely powerful. Sometimes we may see this divide between our mundane part of life and the godly part of life, the Jewish part of life. There's the divide between when I go to work or go on vacation or have a good time, when I relax, and then the part of the day that I'm involved in the godly parts, studying Torah, praying, doing a mitzvah. The message of Shavuot is there really is no divide. The whole point of Shavuot, the purpose and the effect of the giving of the Torah is that Torah and the mundane is one. Torah is not about adding minutes to our day. I have the part of the day that I relax, I do my things, I go to work, and then I have to add some moments. I'm forced. I got to study Torah, I got to do the mitzvot. No. Torah is not about adding moments to our day. Torah is about making the existing moments holy. They're not separate. God came down onto the mountain. We have the potential to make our mundane moments, the moments that we relax, the moments that we go to work, the moments that we eat, the mundane moments of our lives holy. That's the true accomplishment of the giving of the Torah. That's what Matan Torah, the Sinai experience, was all about. Happy Shavuos. Enjoy the cheesecake.